Right now at noon, those alert day conditions continue as we're still feeling about 30 to 35 degrees below zero. How cold we got this morning, wind chills and temperatures, and if there's any relief from this cold in the full forecast.
Plus, joint peace talks underway between the Ukraine, U.S., and Russia. What could be the final sticking point to ending the war? This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Breiter. First Warn Weather starts us off once again this afternoon as we're tracking dangerously cold temperatures and serious wind chills. Some in our area nearing negative 50 earlier today. First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller has the latest temperatures at this hour. And I mean, this is beyond brutal.
That's right. I mean, we're sitting at 31 degrees below zero feeling. We're sitting at 13 degrees below zero for actual air temperatures. The coldest high temperature for today's date, 1936 and 1963, of negative 9 degrees. So we could very well set a new record in terms of coldest daytime highs for today. But Josh had mentioned we were nearing 50 degree below wind chills in Fond du Lac as well as Darlington this morning. Brigham, 44 degrees below zero was our coldest wind chill. Madison, we did get briefly to about 41 degrees below zero at the airport. Same with those of us in the Dells. I'll have a whole write-up of the preliminary coldest wind chills on our website here after the noon if you don't see your city up there. But it was a cold start to the day, and we still have that extreme cold warning through noon, about 1 o'clock this afternoon for southern parts of our coverage area. Closer to, say, Green Lake and Marquette counties, that is extended actually until 9 a.m. on Saturday. We're starting to see some of our western communities being put back underneath that cold weather advisory until noon on Saturday. Likely, once this extreme cold warning expires at 1, we will all be underneath that cold weather advisory through the rest of the weekend, or at least through the rest of Saturday, because we will continue to remain cold. All of us below zero, 10 to 15 degrees below zero for actual air temperatures. In terms of wind chills, let's take you through the next 12 hours here quickly. We will continue to remain at about 25 to 30 degrees below zero through the rest of this evening, overnight, into the start of Saturday. Josh, we'll take a look at when there may be some relief from this cold in the full forecast.
I know you've been talking about this all week, but I have to clear my eyes sometimes. I'm like, am I seeing this right?
My nose, I went to the gym and it actually froze shut.
Oh, my goodness. Awful. All right, Blaze, we'll see in a few. Thank you. Well, these freezing temperatures can cause frostbite in just minutes. According to the Cleveland Clinic, symptoms appear in 3 stages. Stage 1, frost nip, when the skin feels cold, numb, or painful and may turn red or pale. At this point, get inside and treat with warm, not hot water. Stage 2, superficial frostbite. You'll get that pins and needles sensation, stinging or swelling. Blisters often show up 12 to 36 hours later and may turn blue or purple. For this, get to a hospital or urgent care. Then stage 3, deep frostbite. Total numbness. Skin becomes hard and turns white, blue, or black. Large blood-filled blisters may form a day later. This requires immediate emergency medical treatment to avoid long-term damage or even amputation. If you or someone you know needs a warm place to go, several warming centers are available. Platteville Police are serving as a warming center all day through Sunday, and the Middleton Police Department lobby on Donna Drive is open 24 hours a day. You can find a full list of the warming centers near you in the story on channel3000.com. These frigid temps are also hitting your wallet. Right now, the price of natural gas is skyrocketing. FactSet data shows contracts for near-term U.S. natural gas futures have jumped more than 70% so far this week. Bloomberg says the increase means natural gas is on track to see its biggest weekly jump since 1990. The extreme cold is not only driving up demand, but could disrupt gas flow through pipelines and deplete stockpiles. The demand could also derail production at key hubs across the country. You can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. Download it for free wherever you get your apps. The man who police say hit and killed a woman with a vehicle on Packers Avenue earlier this month did not have a driver's license. That's according to a criminal complaint. 30-year-old Jordan Killer Lane of Sun Prairie is charged with knowingly operating a vehicle while revoked, causing death, and driving without an ignition interlock device. A criminal complaint alleges Killer Lane was behind the wheel of a vehicle that hit 77-year-old Mary Givens on January 12th. Givens died at the hospital that day. Records show Killer Lane has multiple prior convictions for OWI and that he is required to have an ignition interlock device in any vehicle he uses. No device was found in his. Killer Lane's cash bond was set at $35,000. Right now, the manhunt continues after Madison police say a man drove a stolen vehicle into Monona Bay. Police say Derek Newton carjacked an SUV earlier yesterday and sunk it into Monona Bay near Brittingham Park. They say the carjacking happened near Meriter Hospital, putting it on lockdown. Police believe he has a knife and gun and is a threat to the public. Dozens of police officers responded to the icy scene, including divers who had to go into the frozen lake to confirm no one was inside. The U.S., Ukraine, and Russia are scheduled to meet today for negotiations on ending the war in Ukraine. As Natalie Brand reports, this is the first time all three nations have sat down to speak.
Nearly 4 years into Russia's war on Ukraine, the two countries and the U.S. are holding joint peace talks for the first time. The meeting in Abu Dhabi comes a day after President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, flew to Moscow to sit down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ahead of it, Witkoff expressed optimism.
I think we've got it down to one issue, and we have discussed iterations of that issue, and that means it's solvable. So if both sides want to solve this, we're going to get it solved.
But both Russia and Ukraine have said the sticking point remains territory.
It's all about the eastern part of our country. It's all about the land. This is the issue which we're not solved yet.
President Trump cited threats from Russia as a reason behind his push for Greenland. The president says there could be progress within the next couple of weeks on his newly announced framework of a deal. Diplomatic sources say it would beef up the 1951 treaty with Denmark.
It's forever. That was discussed. We can do anything we want. We can do military. We can do anything we want. And it's being negotiated, and let's see what happens.
The president also said the Golden Dome will be part of those talks.
We're going to build the Golden Dome, and we'll have participation in that also. The cost of the Golden Dome, we'll have participation in that also, meaning with the expense of it.
Denmark's foreign minister says they are planning meetings with the U.S. and that what is needed now is to take the drama out of the situation.
That was Natalie Brand reporting. There are also new tensions between President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney following Carney's speech in Davos taking aim at Trump's policies. On Thursday, President Trump rescinded his invitation to Canada to join his Board of Peace. Well, coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, what the Commerce Department is saying about inflation, plus how some airlines are handling the incoming winter storm moving across the country.
The economy grew at the fastest pace in 2 years for the quarter ending in September, according to a new government estimate. Strong consumer spending helped drive the third quarter increase. The country's gross domestic product, the output of goods and services, rose at a 4.4% annual pace compared to 3.8% in the second quarter. Despite the growth and increased spending, Americans are still dealing with high inflation. The Commerce Department reports consumer prices rose 2.8% in November from a year earlier, a tenth higher than October. The data means the Federal Reserve will likely not reduce rates at its meeting next week. And airlines are granting waivers ahead of the big winter storm hitting this weekend. Travel could be majorly disrupted as the system brings snow, ice, and cold to the Northeast, South, and Midwest. 230 million Americans are potentially in its path. Most airlines are also allowing rebooking without fees. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is down 398 points. NASDAQ is up 40, and the S&P 500 is down 1. Pam has today's farm numbers up next, and Blaze is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, continuing coverage of Winter Restaurant Week beginning Sunday in the 608. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Bianchi for the Midwest Farm Report on a Friday. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Everybody, the number one message everybody's hearing today, stay warm. And that includes our Wisconsin farmers. But you know what? The mamas don't tell the farmers that they're going to wait until the coldest day we've had to have the babies. So care is definitely necessary. Of course, we want Wisconsin farmers taking care of themselves, their family, their employees, but you also have to take care of those babies, and we've got plenty. Thank you to John from Mount Horeb, Windy Ridge Hill up in Hill Point, Sauk County Dairy Breakfast host, Tammy from DeForest, Alicia from down by Platteville, and Tyler from Fox Lake for the baby pictures you're seeing. Carolyn Eady, who's a small ruminant outreach specialist with UW-Madison and Iowa State University, says this is lambing season, and that means that farmers have to be busy. They have got to be there. Some farms are going so far to install remote cameras in their barns, so whenever there's signs of labor, they can be ready to rush out there and assist the mama, or at least assist the baby. And that's kind of critical for the lambs that are being born right now. Right now, in this sub-zero weather, lambs have to get the colostrum milk or their mother's milk immediately to prevent death from chilling on these kind of sub-zero days. If you normally would wait 2 hours to make sure that that little lamb is up and eating, now it's absolutely critical that you're really next to the ewe as she delivers and getting that baby on a nipple or getting that baby to start eating right away. If that lamb gets chilled, it will actually lose the sucking reflex and then literally would die. If they're exposed to the elements, the ewe doesn't do a good job of cleaning them up or drying them off, or you're not there with towels or what have you to dry them off, then you can also see death. According to Edie, she says, if we don't get those lambs dry, get them full of colostrum, they generally will die within the first 2 hours right after birth. So like I said, it's not just about the animal health and your heart reflex on the farm. It's also about the financial impact that can be physically felt financially if you lose these lambs. If you lose those beef calves, they're incredibly expensive right now, or those dairy calves, obviously. So like I said, take care of yourselves, but you do have to take care of those animals regardless of the elements. On a brighter note, a sunnier note, let's think about fair season. Congratulations to Ian Heilman. He has been named the new general manager of the Dane County Fair. He comes to the fair with experience from the Wisconsin State Fair, as well as other concerts and venues like that. He'll be taking over the reins, getting us ready for the 2026 event. Welcome, Ian. All right, as far as the markets are concerned today, we're keeping an eye on what's going on with the grain trade. Not a lot of people necessarily paying attention to it, letting a lot of computer trading going on today with the weather overriding some of their physical activities. Dairy markets today were pretty active, though. Barrel cheese was actually up 1/4 cent today at 136. 40-pound block cheese gained a half at 135.5. And Josh, my goodness, butter today went up 11.5 cents at 157.5 per pound. The only reason why I don't want to get myself too excited about a dairy recovery off that one trade is they may be putting it into a freezer someplace, saving it for when they need it. And boy, I'll tell you, today they don't have to put it very far. Set it out on your step and it'll be frozen in a couple of seconds.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Thinking about all of our farmers and other workers that have to be out in this cold as well. Stay safe, everyone, and Pam, you stay warm. Let's get a check of that first warn forecast now with meteorologist Blaze Keller. And I mean, we are talking some very serious cold out there.
That's right. I mean, we'll take a look at those current wind chills, and you can always find the current wind chill, whether it's a very cold day like today or not, by downloading and taking with you the First Warn weather app. We're still somewhere between 25 to 35 degrees below zero. We're keeping that alert day, not only today, but through the weekend, because we are still going to be cold, but it is going to be at least above zero. And we're continuing to see little to no snow over the next 7 to 10 days. Other than the weekend, maybe some light snow, but it doesn't look too promising. And I think our attention is more or less on the cold that is overhead, and that is going to be sticking around through Sunday morning. Here's a look at those wind chills across not only Wisconsin, but the rest of the Midwest as well. We're still sitting anywhere between 35 to about 25 degrees below zero across a lot of southern Wisconsin. Marshfield and Rhinelander, though, still in those 40-degree below zero wind chills. This is Arctic air that originated over the Siberian Sea, crossing over the Arctic Circle, hanging out over the Hudson Bay, and is now overhead. We were starting to tell you this going into this work week. We were expecting 2 rounds of Arctic air, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then this second round to end the week. This round we were expecting to be and is much colder than where we were earlier this week. Back at home, still about 32, 35 degrees below zero. Again, If you don't have to be outside, please don't. Frostbite can set in within about 10 to 30 minutes if you are outside and left that skin exposed. Cover up as much skin as possible. Your fingertips, your nose, your lips, and your ears especially. Those are going to succumb to frostbite or hypothermia, sooner rather than later. I'm going to very quickly, and we can keep this view here. We do have some updates on our warnings across southern Wisconsin. In the light blue there for our western communities, that is a cold weather advisory that will last until 12 a.m. on Saturday. Those of us in the dark blue, that does include Dane County and Rock County, we are underneath that extreme cold warning still until 1 p.m., so a little less than an hour. But off towards Green Lake, Waushara, as well as Marquette counties, that extreme cold warning goes until 6 a.m. on Saturday. The cold air is going to be lingering further north and east for longer, so just keep that in mind. We're still going to be dealing with the cold, but we're going to be losing that extreme cold warning kind of in chunks. So what is the wind chill looking like as we step forward into Saturday morning? Still about 15 to 25 degrees below zero. And again, that's why we're keeping that extreme cold warning further to the north and east through Saturday morning. And then as we head into Sunday, once again, 15 to 25 degrees below zero. This is why we have that alert day through the weekend. This is why you need to continue to remain on the warm side and limit your time and your pet's time outdoors. We shared this on Facebook. I'm going to have the full list in our latest Beyond the Barometer here as soon as the noon show ends, so you can share it. If you don't see your city on here and are curious, the coldest wind chills this Friday morning, approaching 50 degrees below zero, Darlington and Fond du Lac. Madison, we briefly got to 41 degrees below zero for a wind chill there in the Dells as well. And in Brigham, we got to 44 degrees below zero for a wind chill with overnight lows anywhere between about 15 to 20 degrees. And we'll have a list of all those overnight lows as well. Interestingly enough, though, we didn't set any new records for overnight lows. There is a look at our 7 and 10 day forecast. Little to no snow, but you know what? Starting tomorrow, Josh and folks at home, we're losing that negative sign in front of our high temperatures. And I will be happy about that. But we are continuing to remain pretty much in the single digits and teens all throughout the next 7 to 10
Above
days.
zero. Boy, that's going to feel good. Thanks, Blaze.
Heat wave.
Up next at noon, to sit down with our friends at Madison Magazine with Winter Restaurant Week returning Sunday, how you can support more than 40 local businesses. Well, we are looking ahead to next week, and it's one of our favorite weeks of the year. We're talking about Winter Restaurant Week, and joining us now to talk a little bit more about it is Emma Waldinger, the food editor for Madison Magazine. Of course, you guys put this event on. Yes. Emma, good to see you.
Good to see you, Josh.
So, you are excited. This is going to be a big week starting this next week.
Yes, we're really excited for Winter Restaurant Week. Restaurant Week only happens twice a year, and this is a really great time to have a big event surrounding restaurants because a lot of restaurants are really slow this time of year, and they're really excited to have your business next week.
So more than 4 dozen participants this time around.
Yes, we've got 42 participating restaurants all over town in the suburbs as well.
That's awesome. And what kind of stuff can we expect for Winter Restaurant Week this time around?
Yeah, this time around we have got restaurants with prefix menus at different price points, $20, $30, and $40. That $20 one is for lunch at 18 different participating restaurants, and I think that is your best value because you're going to get an appetizer, a main, and a dessert for only $20, which is,
huge.
you know, not something you can find a lot in town anymore.
I always say this is an awesome opportunity for you to, you know, support your favorites, but also maybe try something new too.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some newer restaurants that are participating this year. We've got One Social Food Hall, which just opened in November 2025, and then a few other newer ones as well at Chico Lounge, which is on top of the Moxie Madison Downtown Hotel, and also Orchard out in Verona. Those are some newer restaurants that you could try.
You know, something that is going to be a little unique, and you get to support the community a little bit. We're supporting the river with Pack the Pantry, and how is that going to work for Restaurant Week?
Yeah, we're really excited about this collaboration. So while you're out dining and supporting local restaurants, you can also show support for people who need nutrition assistance or are looking for meals this time of year. So the River Food Pantry is moving to a new pantry on Packers Ave, and we are encouraging people to pack the pantry by either supporting the River Food Pantry with a monetary donation. There will be QR codes on tables at participating restaurants, and some restaurants will also have donation boxes, so you can bring in a non-perishable food item and drop it in the box.
I love that. It's always that full circle thing, right? Like, you go out and support your businesses are also supporting the community. That's what makes a week like this so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we can give back too while we're enjoying great meals next week.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. All right, hit us with the dates. Again, I know it's on the bottom part of the screen, but plenty of time to be able to check this out.
Yes, January 25th through 30th. I recommend making a reservation in advance because restaurants are going to be busy. You can find all of the menus online at MadisonRestaurantWeek.com.
Happy eating, right?
Yes, exactly.
All
Bon
right.
appetit.
Yes, Emma, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Josh.
it. Here's Blaze with a final check of your forecast.
Yes, let's just look at those wind chills and where we're expecting them over the next 12 hours. Headed into the rest of the afternoon, 20 to 30 degrees, 35 degrees below zero. As we head into the late afternoon, early evening, about 25 to 30 degrees below zero. And that continues overnight into the start of Saturday, Josh. So please, folks at home, we keep saying it, please stay warm and limit your time and your pet's time outdoors.
Thanks for joining us.